Yo, what's up guys? d-cellgaming here, back with some more Evertale. Today we're going to be doing a new SSR unit review for Dark Jeanne. So, let's get right into it. Alright, so my first impression of this character when I saw it, when I looked at the skill kit, I was just like, yo, what the fuck? Who okayed this character? It's so broken, it's so ridiculous, it's so powerful. Like, there's so much to this character and there's so much to unpack. She seems ridiculous. So let's go ahead and look at her skill kit and her stats and just break it down and see what Dark Jeanne is all about. So looking at her stats, you kind of have to look, we're going to have to look at both Jeanne and Michaela to really kind of see the whole picture here. Dark Jeanne herself, she has decent HP. It's pretty high. It's higher than someone like Yuki or Dark Astrid, for example, and she has pretty decent attack as well with 53,000. That's a pretty high attack, and her speed is it's kind of middle of the road. It's not fast, but it's not slow. When you look at Dark Michaela, she has a little bit higher HP, lower attack, but she is way faster. At 750 speed. She is designed, you will see this later, she is designed to basically soak some attacks so she can resummon Dark Jeanne. Dark Jeanne's leader skill is dark elements have their attack increased by 15%, so that is a pretty big attack increase. Moving on to her active skills, her first skill is Poison Random. So this works just like Dark Rosette's Poison Random, except it targets 2. And instead of 50 time units, it costs 100 time units. So you basically randomly poison 2 people at once, and you get 1 spirit for that. Then she has Poison Devour for 130 time units. She can then turn around and do 250% damage to 2 enemies as long as they're poisoned, and this also costs 1 spirit. Healing Rage is a ridiculous skill. It heals the user for 50% of max HP and then enrages that unit, which increases their attack by 50% until the end of its next turn. So this will override any other enraged skills, and it's only usable if the user is not at max HP. So there is no other condition to this skill. It's pretty ridiculous. As long as she's not at max HP, she can do Healing Rage for 50 time units, gain 2 spirit, and enrage. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. It's pretty ridiculous. Then she has Survivor's Fury. If she can survive on the battlefield for 300 time units, she can do 500% damage to 2 units, and then that costs 160 time units and 2 spirit. This is her main source of damage because Poison Devour is actually a pretty weak hitting attack. So unless she's enraged, Poison Devour is not going to hit. It's going to hit like a wet noodle. But her Survivor's Fury, on the other hand, now that is going to dish out some damage, especially if she's enraged. So now we're going to move on to her passive skills. So her number 1 passive skill is Michaela's Revenge. When this unit is defeated by an enemy, add Dark Michaela to the next in line of allied reinforcements. Dark Michaela's level, limit breaks, awakenings, yada yada yada. All of that is going to be the same as Dark Jeanne. So how this passive works is as soon as Dark Jeanne dies, Dark Michaela is going to come right onto the battlefield next. Now, some key things to keep in mind with how this passive works. If Dark Jeanne is the very last surviving unit on the battlefield, when you die, you will not summon Michaela. You will go immediately to the defeated screen. You have to have at least 1 other person on the battlefield with you in order for this passive to proc. However, you don't need anybody in the reinforcements. You just need to not be alone on the battlefield. Her second passive is Immovable, which means she cannot be sent to the reinforcements from the battlefield. So no pushback or anything like that. She will stay on the battlefield until she dies. Then she has Attack level 3, Light Resist level 3, HP level 3, and then Spear Mastery. So she can use great swords and spears. These are all great choices for her, as she's going to be doing some damage once she gets that Survivor's Fury going. Light Resist is really nice, as it gives her an 8 damage resistance to what she's already weak against. Moving on, we have Dark Michaela. So when she's summoned to the battlefield, she's probably going to go first. She's very fast. She has regular attack, damages one enemy, gain 2 spirits. Then she has blood drain, sacrifice the last unit in the allied reinforcements for 400% damage to one enemy, and then heals herself by 50% of the max HP of the damage that's dealt. Blood drain costs 1 spirit, 100 time units, and it will sacrifice the last person in the allied reinforcements. For 3 spirit and 130 time units, she can use sleep. It'll grant the one person sleep for 200 time units, and of course that'll overwrite anything that she can do. Now, as you can tell, this is a stall unit. She's trying to sleep people, she's trying to heal herself. She's really just trying to stall, and the reason why she's trying to stall is because of her 4th ability. Now, her 4th ability is Unholy Revival. It does cost 2 spirit, and what this does is it summons Dark Jeanne back to the battlefield. Unholy Revival sacrifices the user to revive Dark Jeanne that conjured the user to the battlefield with full HP. This is locked for 200 time units after the user has entered the battlefield. The revived Dark Jeanne will be considered as a conjured unit. Now, this is important to realize because the new Dark Jeanne is going to be a conjured unit, so she's not going to interact with like Arya's passives, for example, like the auto minions. She's not going to continually like summon minions based on whether Dark Michaela and Dark Jeanne keep dying, for example. Just to keep that in mind, they are considered conjured units after they die. Now for her passives, she has Summon Entry, which will summon 2 Moris to the end of the team, and she has Shocking Entry, which stuns the enemy with the lowest current TU for 150 TU. So basically how it works is when Dark Michaela comes in, she's going to summon 2 Moris, and she's going to shock the next person in line to attack. Then she has HP, Light Resist, Attack, and Spear Mastery. Of course, it's going to be the same as Dark Jeanne, as they are just mirror images stat-wise to themselves. And for completion's sake, we will go over the core Moris that they summon. They can add poison for 100 time units and will give you +1 poison. And they also have auto guard. So when the Moris come in, they'll have auto guard and they'll be able to poison your enemy team. So let's go ahead and look at some pros and cons for Dark Jeanne. Starting with the pros, she has a very strong self buff and self healing capabilities with the use of Healing Rage. Healing Rage can fill her health all the way back up to full so long as she's just above half health. There are no other restrictions or limitations other than her being less than full health. So this is a pretty ridiculous like self-buffing ability because she can use it at any time. It adds 2 spirit to the team and it heals and enrages her all at the same time. It's pretty ridiculous. All of her skills are low time unit cost. Her healing rage is 50. Her poison random that targets 2 enemies is only 100. Her poison devour is 160, and it's kind of ridiculous because she can rapid fire healing rage. She can poison random multiple times. She's going to synergize with poison teams very, very well because of this, and she's going to be a very constant threat while on the battlefield. As stated, she has very high synergy with poison. She's going to enable other poison damage. So even though she doesn't quite do a lot of poison damage herself, like with the poison devour is only 250% until she gets her Survivor's Fury out, but she can greatly synergize with somebody like Dark Rosette, who can really benefit from having somebody pump out the poison for them. Her Survivor's Fury will hit ridiculously hard because she can self-enrage and then turn around and do Survivor's Fury for 50% more damage. That's insane that she can enrage herself, heal herself, and then use Survivor's Fury. So once she gets Survivor's Fury unlocked, she will be a massive threat to the enemy team. Also, she is a very excellent stall unit because it has been confirmed she can enter in this endless cycle of summoning Dark Michaela, and Michaela, as long as she has enough time on the battlefield, she can summon Dark Jeanne again, and then you can repeat this endlessly until you run out of units around them, basically. So you can stall for a really, really long time with this unit. Now for some cons, Michaela is very squishy. It's going to be very easy for her to be targeted down. She has to have some Moris out so she can use her blood drain, but even then, she's a very squishy unit. There's not much from her just really getting bursted down and then they're gone for good. Both Michaela and Dark Jeanne are able to be stun locked or slept. They're pretty susceptible to CCs, so that's another con for them. If you're going against a stun heavy team, they can still be stun locked into oblivion and just kind of worked around. So that's a threat to this unit. It's kind of a threat to all poison units for that matter. She also has low damage output aside from Survivor's Fury. Dark Michaela can do 400% damage, but it does require you to sacrifice an enemy. But the most use you're going to get is out of Dark Jeanne, and Dark Jeanne is there to really support until she unlocks Survivor's Fury. Once she unlocks Survivor's Fury, she becomes a beast, but until then, she is not really the hardest hitting unit, to be honest. And for the last con, she can't be used in the last formation. You really want to use her first or middle. You want to really make sure that she's not coming out last. So it kind of limits where you can put her in your platoon or your battalion for that matter. But as long as she's in the middle or in the front, you're fine. You definitely don't want to put her at the last unit, because if you put her on as the last unit, her ability to stall really goes away. Because like I said before, if she's the very last surviving unit, she cannot summon Michaela. And even if you could summon Dark Michaela, she's so squishy. If she's last and has nobody to protect her, those two Moris that she summons are just going to vanish very quickly, and she's going to die way before she can get Michaela, or way before she can get Jeanne back on the battlefield. So you really kind of want to put her middle or front. So where does Dark Jeanne fit in, and how should you use her? I think it's very obvious. You should put her in a poison team. You should surround her by Endless Astrid, Dark Rosette, and units like that. You really want to put her in a poison heavy team, because that's where she's going to shine. She's going to synergize for the other poison units until she can get her Survivor's Fury out, and then she can help assist in dealing damage. She can bring out Michaela, and the Michaela's poison from the Moris are going to help. Like, overall, even though Michaela has like some summon abilities, I don't think this is something you're going to want to build a summon team with or around. She very much synergizes with poison. I don't think her capabilities as a summon like is really worth it, because Michaela's only going to be on the battlefield a very limited time. The battlefield is going to be dominated by Dark Jeanne. You're going to see 90% of your time of Dark Jeanne being on the battlefield, not Michaela. Michaela's squishy. She's not going to be getting off too many blood drains and things like that. Really, you want to surround this unit by poison and just really build a strong poison platoon for her. So that's going to be it for today, guys. That's my opinions on Dark Jeanne. What do you guys think? Are you going to summon for her? I did, and it costed me pretty much everything that I had. But I do think she's pretty much a must pull for a poison team. If you have a poison team, now you have to have Dark Rosette and you have to have Dark Jeanne. Like, it just is what it is. She is such a strong enabler for poison teams. It's like a must. If you have a poison team, you have to have Dark Jeanne on your team now. She's just that strong. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more things like this in the future. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.